right, fourth grade, grab that math notebook. Going to talk today about metric measurements of capacity. I think after we do, you'll be pretty clear on the metric system. So go ahead and make this the title on the next free page in your math notebook. After you have done that, mark a page, close it up, and give me lots of concentration until we get to we do. All right, so capacity, I probably need to start by talking about what that word means. Oh, sorry, I don't need this. Where that came from. Capacity means like how much something will hold. So I have something will hold. So like we typically talk about, especially, I'll even put in parentheses, especially liquid. Usually that's where you're going to hear these measurements, is when we're talking about liquids. So let me switch to camera here. A water bottle, like the amount of water that it will hold is its capacity. So like this, the only mark on this water bottle is up there, 750 milliliters. That's like how much water is inside of it. That's called its capacity when we measure that. In the American system, we measure that in things like gallons or quarts or cups, things like that you may have heard. We're going to talk about the ways that is measured in the metric system today. So going back, we've talked about metric units of length or distance, kilometers, meters, centimeters, millimeters. Yesterday we did measurements of weight in the metric system. That was kilograms, grams, and milligrams. And so today we're going to go on to capacity. The most common two you hear are liter and milliliter. Occasionally kiloliter will be used for something, it's a lot of water, like how much water is in like a pool or a water tower. I'll show you in a minute. A kiloliter is a lot of water. Liters are the base unit of capacity in the metric system. So I think I showed, you know how you're probably getting used to how liter and milliliter work. 1,000 milliliters make a liter. So when you see 1 liter or 1,000 milliliters, they're the same. So looking at my water bottle again, that's 750 milliliters. It's a typical size water bottle if I kind of back up so you can see how big it is. You know, probably around the size you usually bring to school if you bring one. That's less than a liter. I have this liter thermos here, so it's like that much bigger than my water bottle. That's about a liter. So it's a pretty big amount, a liter, and this is about 3/4 of a liter. So as you get used to that. And so obviously a kiloliter, if you're getting used to the metric system, that'd be 1,000 liters. That's a lot. And so that's only to measure like lots and lots and lots and lots of water. You typically probably see, you know, these kind of things. Like this is often, you know, Coke and other drinks like that are sold in 2-liter bottles. Or sometimes 1-liter bottles. 2 liters are kind of like the bigger size that you usually see. So this bottle would be like 2 liters, or this bottle would be like 2 liters. This is a 1 liter, obviously half the size, 1 liter bottle, about the size of that coffee that I held up. I don't have any 2-liter bottles to show you, but 1 liter is the base. So milliliters are small. You know, you'll see containers like this where they're marked, you know, a liter, 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. And so if you think about, you know, this being broken into 1,000 units, I mean, a milliliter is really not much at all. You may remember back at the beginning of the year. Oh, where did I put that? Maybe not the beginning of the year, maybe like in October. I gave everybody, out of the goodness of my heart, because I'm such a good guy, 100 milliliters of water. That's the last time you've ever heard me say milliliters. So that, you know, this container that I gave you, if this was your groups, that's 100 milliliters. So they're all marked on there, 100 little marks, and you can see milliliters are very small. It's not much liquid at all. You often see medicine, like if you get a shot, like it would be in milliliters. You know, it's really like a small amount of liquid. Just a few, I would say like a few drops of water makes a milliliter. So that's what the main units are. And then a kiloliter is 1,000 of these. It's 1,000 liters. So it's a lot. And again, you might measure a pool in kiloliters or, you know, a water tower. So let's do some questions converting here. So how many milliliters of soda are in this package? I like this question because I don't even tell you how many liters there are. There's some figuring out to do. So when you convert, we're going to convert the same way we have with the other metric system. King, Henry, died, base, drinking, chocolate, milk. And liters, we're going for milliliters. How many milliliters of soda? So that's the one down here. That's the small unit. It's going to be a lot. Milliliters are very small. So this package here has 4 2-liter bottles in it. So altogether the package has 8 liters. Liters is a capital L is the abbreviation if you want to know. So we're going to start up here at the base. Remember, liters are the base. And there are 8 of those in the package. There are 8 liters. 2, 4, 6, 8 liters. 2 in each bottle. All right. So deciliters, which we don't use often, but they're a thing. They exist. 10 deciliters make a liter. So there would be 80 of those in the package. Centiliters, also rarely used. I have seen them before, like if you buy like a can of Coke in Europe or something, it might be in centiliters. I have seen it before, it does exist. That would be 800 centiliters, and times 10 milliliters in a centiliter would be 8,000 milliliters of soda in the package. Again, milliliters are very small. 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. So it makes sense that 8 liters would be 8,000 milliliters. So the converting is no different than anything else in the metric system. Quite simple, just multiplying by 10 and moving up our chart. Okay, open up your math notebook and let's do a redo. Let's talk water towers, why don't we? So a town has 2 water towers that serve its citizens. The tower on the east side of town has 900 kiloliters of water, while the west tower has 300 kiloliters of water. How many 1-liter bottles could be filled from these water towers? So if this is the water supply for a town, how many people could fill up a 1-liter water bottle? I have to hold it back. When I hold it here, it looks huge. To see it next to me, something you can compare it to. So how many of those could we fill up from these water towers is the question. So as you know, King Henry died, base, drinking, chocolate, milk. We're starting with kiloliters, right? There's 900 in one tower plus 300 in the other tower. So we're starting with 1,200 kiloliters. So that is here, okay. And we're looking for liters, which are the base. How many 1-liter bottles? How many liters? So we start there and work our way down. Hectoliters, never heard of it, but you know, they exist even though people don't use them. 1,200 times 10 is going to be 12,000. Decaliters, 10 of those in a hectoliter, there would be 120,000. And liters times 10 one more time would be 1,200,000 liters in there. So that means we could fill 1,200,000 1-liter bottles from the water tower. Lots of water. Like I said, kiloliters are massive. They're just really a lot. And that's how it works, guys. So I think, you know, the calculating, I think after doing it for 3 different days is pretty simple. The only hard part, I think the harder part is getting used to the units. You know, when somebody says meter, do I know how long that is in my head? Do I have an idea of it? When somebody says kilometer, do I have an idea of how far that is? When they say kilogram, do I have an idea of how heavy that is? And things like that. When they say liter, do I know how much liquid that is? I think that's much harder than the calculation here, is just getting used to the measurements. So hopefully that is coming along, and hopefully the math is coming along too.